And unqualified means it should be unconditional. The acceptance should be unconditional. Conditional acceptance is not an acceptance at all, because it will amount to a counter offer only. The acceptance should be made while the offer is alive, before expiry and the period prescribed. In certain cases, the performance of any condition prescribed is an acceptance of the proposal. As held in Carlyle versus Carbolic Smoke Ball Company, this case we have already discussed. Then, as regards communication of proposal as well as acceptance, Section 3 and 4 of the Indian Contract Act contains the required provisions, which can be summarized as: for a valid contract, proposal and acceptance must be communicated to the parties. When the parties to a contract are face to face, the communication could be oral. When they are at a distant place, communication can be made by post, telegram, phone, or special messenger, or even by emails or any other reasonable manner. The offerer cannot say that failure to reply will be deemed to be the acceptance. The offeree has a right to make the offer lapse by not being accepted within the prescribed time or within the reasonable time. Acceptance in ignorance of the offer is not an acceptance, as we have already seen. Similarly, mere silence cannot be regarded as acceptance of the offer. Communication of the acceptance to a wrong person will not bind the offerer. And the communication of acceptance is not needed in acceptance by contact. Section 4 of the Contract Act says communication of a proposal is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the person to whom it is made, that is the offeree. Communication of the proposal is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the offeree. Offeree is the person to whom it is made. For example, if X makes a proposal to B to sell his computer for a certain price, and the proposal is sent by post, mere receipt of the letter by B is not enough. B should read and understand the content so that he comes to know of the offer. Suppose B received the letter on 10th but reads it on 11th only, we can say the proposal comes to the knowledge of the offeree not on 10th but only on the 11th, when the communication proposal is complete. Similarly, communication of an acceptance is complete as against the proposer. Communication of an acceptance is complete. It is stated in two ways, one against the proposer and against the acceptor. The communication of acceptance is complete against the proposer when it is put in a course of transmission to him so as to be out of the power of the acceptor. That means the offerer sends the proposal to the offeree accepts it, and the acceptance is put in a course of transmission. That means if it is by letter, the letter is put in the post box. The moment he puts the letter of acceptance in the post box, it is now out of his power. He cannot take it back. Therefore, as regards the offerer is concerned, that is the proposer is concerned, when the letter is put in the post box, acceptance is complete. But as regards the acceptor, that is the offeree, The acceptance is complete when it comes to the knowledge of the proposer. If B accepts A proposal by letter sent by post, the communication of the acceptance is complete as against A offerer when the letter is posted, and as against B the acceptor when the letter is received and read by A. That when he reads the letter, then only he comes to know about the offer, the acceptance. When B received the letter of offer and he sends his acceptance by post, and the letter of acceptance is received by the offerer, just because he has received it, he doesn't come to know about the acceptance of the acceptor. He opened the letter and read it, then only it comes to his knowledge that B has accepted his proposal. So you can say the offerer is bound when the letter of acceptance is posted to him by the acceptor, and the acceptor is bound when his letter, acceptor's letter, reaches and comes to the knowledge of the offerer. That is when he reads and understands the contents of the letter containing the acceptance. But when you board a bus and the conductor gives you a ticket for a price, our offer to travel is accepted by the bus operator. In such case, both the offer and acceptance are made by conduct. Similarly, if you board the bus knowing well that you are not allowed to smoke in the bus, you accept something not to be done. So, an acceptance may be for doing something that is positive, for not doing something that is negative. There are certain case laws regarding acceptance. In the case of Feldhaus versus Bindley, Felthouse, Feldhaus versus Bindley. Here, Feldhaus, we will say F. F wrote a letter to his horse trader nephew. F wrote a letter to his trader nephew. His nephew is a horse trader, offering to buy his horse for 30 pounds and said, quotation, "If I hear no more about the horse, I shall consider the same to be mine for 30 pounds. Unquote. That means the horse trader's uncle F wanted to buy a horse from his nephew, and the price was also fixed 30 pounds. And he simply stated, if I hear no more about the horse, I shall consider the same to be mine for 30 pounds. The nephew did not reply, but he told his auctioneer, the person who is making the auction sales of horses for him. His name was Bindley. He told his auctioneer B to reserve the horse for his uncle. Even though no reply was sent to his uncle, he told his auctioneer to reserve that horse for his uncle. But the auctioneer B, by mistake, disposed of the horse. F filed a suit against the horse trader, not against his nephew, but Bindley, the auctioneer. And when the case came to the court held that since the nephew had not communicated his acceptance, no contract is created. So you have to properly understand the facts and circumstances of the case, and also the law relating to communication of acceptance. We already have seen that communication of acceptance is a must to conclude a contract. As we have already seen in the Anson's rule, only when the lighted match comes in contact with the train of gunpowder, an explosion happens. If you apply that rule to this case, or in general, the train of gunpowder is the offer and the lighted match is the acceptance. Only if the lighted match comes in contact with the offer, that is the train of gunpowder, a contract becomes valid. A contract is created, you can say. Therefore, in Feldhaus versus Bindley, the court held that no communication of acceptance was made by the auctioneer to F, and therefore no contract was created. There was another case on the issue. In the case of Powell versus Lee, P-O-W-E-L, Powell versus Lee, L-E-E. In that case, the Honorable Court had held that a valid acceptance should be communicated to the offerer. Communication by an unauthorized agent does not result in a contract. That means the communication can be made by the acceptor himself or through an authorized agent. If it is done by an unauthorized agent, it does not result in a contract. That is what is the court said in this case. See, you know what happened in this case? P. Powell was one of the candidates for the post of headmaster of a school. The board of managers discussed and examined his application and decided to select P for the post of the headmaster. But no communication was made. What happened, one of the board members informed P unofficially about his selection to the post. Later, the board cancelled his selection and appointed another person. Then P filed a suit against the board. The court held that since P's selection was not communicated by the board or by any authorized person, no contract is created. So we have to see from these two decisions that the acceptance can be treated as valid only if it is communicated to the offerer, either by the offeree or by some duly authorized person on his behalf. If a person has knowledge about the offer, he is acting in accordance with the terms thereof, amounts to acceptance of the same. If a person has knowledge about the offer, he is acting in accordance with the terms thereof, amounts to acceptance of the same. In such a case, it is immaterial that at the time of accepting the offer, the acceptor does not intend to claim the reward. In William versus Carwardine, in an English case, the plaintiff knew that a reward had been announced to anyone who give some information leading to the conviction of an assailant in a murder case. And plaintiff gave necessary information. While giving the information, the plaintiff mentioned that she had given the information to ease her conscience, and at that time she did not intend to claim the reward. Subsequently, she claimed it. So, when she had accepted the offer of reward, knowingly that there is such an offer, a reward is declared, etc. But originally, she informed about the assailant just to ease her conscience, not for claiming the reward. But subsequently, she changed her mind and claimed the offer, which was refused. The court held that since the offer had been accepted with its knowledge, there was a valid contract, and hence she was entitled to the reward. Here, a person has knowledge about the offer, is acting in accordance with the terms of the offer, amounts to acceptance of the same. And therefore, it is immaterial that at the time of accepting the offer, the acceptor does not intend to claim the reward. That was the decision of the court. Then, communication of acceptance to a wrong person. Acceptance should be sent to the offerer and not to anybody else. Suppose A is the offerer, B is the acceptor. B sent the acceptance by a letter, and letter has been posted to a wrong person. So what will be the result? If the letter is posted to a wrong person, to a wrong address even, then that will not bind the offerer. That was the decision in the case of Karan Singh versus the collector of Chhatarpur. In that case, in an auction of quarry lease, the petitioner's bid was the highest, and he deposited the security and earnest money. The bid was not first accepted but later accepted. But the information was sent to a wrong person. After accepting his offer or proposal, originally no information or communication regarding the acceptance of his offer was not sent, but later it was sent. But it was not to Mr. Karan Singh, but to a different person in a wrong address. It was not sent to the address of Karan Singh or to somebody else. Now the question is whether the proposer is he liable under the contract? Any contract is created actually? The communication of acceptance has been properly made to the concerned person? All these are the questions to be answered, and the court held that the petitioner's bid, though accepted, did not result in a contract, as no communication of the acceptance was made to him. So, we can see that the offerer becomes bound when the letter of acceptance is posted to him by the acceptor. The offerer becomes bound when the letter of acceptance is posted to him, so as to be out of power of the acceptor. However, the acceptor becomes bound by his acceptance only when the letter of acceptance comes to the knowledge of the offerer. That was what is stated in section 4 of the Contract Act. Now, in certain cases, even offer or acceptance may be made through phone or through telex or emails, etc. If the acceptance is made over phone, the question is the point of time at which the acceptance is received by the offerer. For example, A sent a proposal to B by post, but B accepts it and informs or communicates to the offerer by phone. If B sends his acceptance by over phone, you can say the contract is deemed to be complete when the offerer hears the acceptance at his end, rather than when the acceptor speaks the words over phone of acceptance. Suppose B speaks to A over the phone that I accept your offer. Suppose in between some disturbance and A could not properly hear it. Can we say that there is communication of acceptance? No. The acceptance should be properly heard by the offerer over the phone. The moment he clearly hears the acceptance over phone, and that is the moment, that is the point of time when the contract is made or the contract is complete. In a case by name Bhagavan Das versus Giridhar Lal, the plaintiff, the offerer, made an offer over phone from Ahmedabad. The offer has been made from Ahmedabad for purchase of cotton seed cake. And the offeree, the defendant, accepted this offer also over phone at Kamagaon. So the offer has been sent over phone from Ahmedabad. The acceptance has been made over phone from Kamagaon. There was a dispute regarding the place where the contract is actually completed. The offeree, that is the acceptor, he contended that the contract was completed by acceptance of offer on phone at Kamagaon. See, according to him, he spoke to the offerer from Kamagovan over phone. And it is that place where the acceptance has been made and the contract is complete. But the offerer, that is the plaintiff in this case, he claimed that the contract was completed when the acceptance was heard by him, that is communicated to him over phone, and that was at Ahmedabad, and therefore the contract has completed at Ahmedabad. The court held that the contract was made at Ahmedabad, where the acceptance was communicated by the acceptor over phone and which was heard by the offerer over phone. So, offers and acceptance can be made through phone, telex, email, etc. Similarly, for a valid acceptance, it is essential that the acceptance should be absolute and unqualified. Absolute in the sense that the contract should be valid in all respects. Unqualified means it is unconditional. Acceptance should be unconditional, unqualified. When the letter of acceptance contemplates future negotiation for finalization of the terms of the contract, suppose A send a proposal to B. B replies back stating that we have to make some more discussions about the terms and conditions of the contract, on the basis of which I will accept the contract. So can you say that the acceptance has been made by him and the contract is complete? So we can say here there are certain, the acceptance is unqualified, conditional, that he will have to make further discussions regarding the terms and conditions. So therefore, if the acceptance contemplates future negotiations for finalization, there arises no contract, as it will only be a counter offer. When one person makes an offer to the other person, instead of accepting it, he put forward some other conditions, it means only a counter offer. In certain circumstances, there will be special conditions. For example, in flight tickets, train tickets, even laundry receipts, we will see certain terms and conditions are printed overleave the tickets and receipts, etc. And normally, the travelers or the customers don't bother about the conditions printed overleave. They silently, or you can say tacitly, T-A-C-I-T-L-Y, tacitly accepts the conditions even without reading. So we can say the customers are deemed to have impliedly accepted the conditions printed overleave. In a dispute, it was so held by the court in the case of Mughal Datta versus Indian Airlines. The dispute was regarding the terms and conditions printed over the ticket, which was actually not read by the traveler. And there has been dispute regarding it. And he said, I did not go through it. So I am therefore not bound by the terms printed there overleave. But the court said that if you travel after purchasing a ticket, whatever conditions are printed overleave, you are supposed to read. You have impliedly accepted these conditions, whether you have read it or not. Similarly, in another case in Lily White vs. Mannusamy, Lily White versus Mannusamy, the plaintiff delivered certain clothes for dry cleaning. She received a receipt containing certain conditions over leave. One such condition was that in case of loss, the customer would be entitled to only 15% of the market value of the article. That was one of the conditions. She lost a new saree and was paid only 15% of the market value of the saree. The question is, whether she can claim the full value of the saree. In this case, we have already seen that certain terms and conditions, if printed over leaf, are deemed to be accepted by the customers or travelers, etc., and it is binding. But the court said that whatever conditions are printed over leaf on the ticket or over the receipts, the condition should be reasonable. In this particular case, she lost a new saree. If the cost of the saree is 100 rupees, the dry cleaner says, I will pay you only 15 rupees. The court said that this condition was unreasonable and the dry cleaner was directed to give the full value of the sarees. So that is the case regarding special conditions of acceptance. So Section 3 and 4 of the Indian Contract Act deals with communication of proposal and acceptance, and we have to clearly understand these provisions with reference to the case law cited and understand it. So we will discuss the other part of the class in the next class. Okay, thank you.